assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA, 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks on a sunny, warm, blue sky Thursday morning. I say warm. It's going to be in the high 80s today. Started out this morning about 66 degrees at the house, but warming up nicely. Going to be a beautiful day here at the WOCA studios just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport. Galen Unall joins us as he does every day. Brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and Just Shipped. Galen, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Tom? I seem to be doing a little better than you as we talk about fandom because last night the Braves' magic number to clinch the East became 1, and your Red Sox can't seem to get out of their own way.
I don't know. I'm just so disappointed in the whole thing. The Red Sox had it. They actually could have at least challenged a little bit better, but they're not playing good baseball right now. But again, that's been this team's problem all year. They're incredibly streaky. They won last night, but they're playing against the Baltimore Orioles, and if you can't win must-win games against the Baltimore Orioles, you don't belong in the playoffs.
And Baltimore's the worst team in baseball. I mean, Baltimore is the New York Jets of the major leagues.
They could be the worst team in all of sports. You know what I mean?
They're neck and neck with the Jets. I think neck and neck with the Jets.
No, well, you know the difference is with the NFL and Major League Baseball is one has parity and the other doesn't care about parity at all.
No, and Major League Baseball does not care.
And the Baltimore Orioles have the best stadium in baseball. You could argue, and it's 30 years old now, but it's still one of the great stadiums in baseball. And the fans of Baltimore, just like the Jets, would go nuts if they could get something going. But both teams don't know how to hire a coach, and neither one knows how to draft anybody with talent. So, and they're both basically just money-making machines for their owners at this point. They don't really care. So, and that to me is always the argument. Do you want an owner who's hands-on, the Jerry Jones, right? Or do you want a guy who, just kind of shows up when the big decisions are made, like the Jags have? To me, it's always interesting. So it's always interesting because there's pros and cons for both.
Speaking of the Jags, I totally glossed over something that happened this weekend because I don't pay attention to the Jags. They had a 109-yard return for a touchdown on a field goal miss. I completely glossed over that, and it was a trivia question last night, and I missed it because I didn't know it had happened. I mean, something doesn't happen very often. So at least the Jags have that they can hang their hat on. The Orioles, I mean, even what you're saying, the Orioles aren't hanging their hat on any of that. And by the way, if Galen had his druthers, he would flip-flop Camden Yards and the Tropicana Field right now because a good baseball team deserves it. You would go. You would go.
I would go. I would probably go, and I'm not kidding, 15 to 20 times a year. I can't express when I walk into a baseball field. I want that feeling that this is kind of special. There's only one Fenway Park. There's only one Wrigley Field, right? When I go into Fenway, I get teary-eyed. I just do. When I go to Camden, I just feel really good. And by the way, when I lived in Baltimore, I went to probably 25 games that year, and they weren't terrible. But I live 2 hours away from Tropicana, and I probably haven't been to a game in 2 years.
You live
and,
two.
and that has 2.5 and a bridge.
Depending on
2
depending
hours
on
and a bridge.
depending on traffic on the bridge or on 175, it could stretch out to 3:15. Or if you get stuck on that bridge, somebody breaks down or a wreck happens on that bridge, and you're on the bridge, that's a 6 to 8 hour ordeal.
But again, we used to go to Lightning games. When my dad had season tickets and went to every home Lightning game for 6 years. And I would travel.
Amalie Arena is a pretty good arena. Amalie Arena is pretty good arena.
Well, this is before it was that.
Oh,
but,
okay.
This is when they were in the Expo Center, and but why would you want to drive all that way? Granted, the baseball team's good, but when you walk into that stadium, it's dark. The grass that's fake is 12 different colors. The lighting is pretty.
Come on, though. Come on. Be honest. Be honest.
That raised tank is.
You love the smell of that raised tank. Be honest.
If there's just nothing. There's nothing redeeming.
I've smelled dirty locker rooms.
By the way, their food is ranked in the bottom third every single year.
Yeah, I don't eat at Tropicana. And see that you bring up a very good point. When I go to Tropicana, and this is the problem that you say, and I always disagree with you, but then I think about how I go and experience it, and everything I do says exactly what you're saying. It's a terrible stadium to watch baseball in because I go in, I walk around, I do the nostalgia thing, looking at the history of baseball because they, underneath the stands, they got there's some interactive stuff.
The Hitters Hall of Fame,
right,
that moved there, and they don't even do a good job of that. I mean, I went to it when it was down in Citrus County, and it was much better. And then, Ted moved everything there thinking more people would see it. And then again, it's just poorly done. It's dark. You feel like you just went into – you ever go into a buddy's basement? He's like, oh, yeah, it's in my basement. And you go down these rickety stairs, and the light, it's that one hanging light bulb, and you're like, I'm going to die down here.
That buzzes?
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Well, the point I was going to make, and it makes your argument for you, is I go in, I do the experience, and then I go get my seat, and I sit for 3 or 4 innings, drink a couple adult beverages, and then I go, now I need something to eat. So I leave the stadium and go spend the rest of the game at Ferg's across the parking lot eating.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about it. But again,
And by the way, taking my life into my own hands, crossing the parking lot to go from the stadium to Ferg's, which is on the other side of the parking lot.
And again, I just, the people who live in Tampa hate that stadium.
Because they don't like to go to St. Pete. I lived in Oldsmar. People that lived in Oldsmar, I would talk to people. They would go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch the Rays game on TV because they didn't want to have to go to St. Pete. And St. Pete from Oldsmar is like 17 miles, 16 miles. They would rather go sit in a BW, in B-dubs and watch baseball there instead of going and have the experience at a ballpark. So, I mean, you're starting to after a year of every day on the radio, you're starting to weaken my defense about Tropicana Field.
And it's sad to me because they are run like the New England Patriots.
Yes.
When you look at
except you don't know who the owner is. You know who Robert Kraft is. You don't know who the Rays owner is.
That's absolutely correct. You know why you know who Robert Kraft is?
Because he got arrested at a brothel in South Beach.
Well, even before that.
Well, look at the crazy Kraft family.
Because he won World Series, right. Because he won all the Super Bowls.
Right.
Right? You didn't really know who Robert Kraft was.
I still don't know how he made his money. I still don't know how he made his money or anything.
Gillette. He owns Gillette.
Oh, okay. I knew Gillette Stadium was part of it. I just didn't know that he owned it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, you're talking about a guy who just he went out. He said he wanted Bill Belichick to be his coach, and he dropped a bunch of money at him, and
how long was
the Jets to take him.
How long was Belichick A jet coach, a day.
A day. And then, his offensive coordinator is going to leave. He has a sit-down with him. And instead of taking a head coaching job,
he stays.
He went to somewhere for a day, right? And then he stays. And I think that's part of being a good owner, right?
Well,
is getting the right people in there and giving them the tools to do it. And let's be clear, I don't blame Ray's ownership for the stadium issue. I truly don't. But at the same time, I have no expectations whatsoever for the city or the Tampa Bay area to pay for that stadium. Did you see that I think they finally struck a deal with the Oakland Athletics for a stadium?
Yes.
That's in its final phases, and it's going to be like this joint partnership between the A's, Major League Baseball, and the city.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's a unique perspective, because I do believe that a baseball park can really add something to the city if that partnership's done well. You look at San Diego and what that's done. You look at Camden Yards and how that completely changed the waterfront. And again, I think this can be done.
Look at the agreement. Look at the agreement.
It can be done very well.
Look at the agreement the city of Marietta entered with the Braves and Major League Baseball to build Truist Park. Major League Baseball.
Well, that was a little different in that the Cobb County just threw a ton of money at both entities and said, "Come."
Well,
Come,
but
we'll
they
build
needed. By the way, and don't get me wrong, the TED was a good stadium. The Olympic Stadium that they've turned into the baseball field.
Great stadium.
It's a great stadium.
Great stadium.
Once again, it had the same problem. It had the same problem Tropicana Field has, but not as bad. It was a great stadium. Trop's not a great stadium. The TED was a great stadium. It just was in the worst. Well, not the worst, because East Lake Meadows is the worst, but it was in one of the worst areas in all of Metro Atlanta.
The Orange Bowl. Orange Bowl's worse.
Yeah, but it was like where the Orange Bowl is. It was in Miami. That was almost the equivalent of where the TED was. The TED was on the other side of the interstate, away from the Omni, away from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, away from the Capitol. It was not in a good neighborhood. Whether you like Atlanta or not, it wasn't a good neighborhood. And they didn't have a MARTA that went straight to the stadium.
That's the key. Well, but they had enough public transportation that it was the best way to get there.
Oh, it's still the best way to get to a Falcons game or a Hawks game is to park at a MARTA station and take the MARTA train.
Absolutely correct. And you don't have that in Cobb. A lot of Uber, right? A lot of Lyft.
Well, they have the Cobb public transit, but it's all buses. There is no trains. They are, though, however, discussing partnering with.
They've already denied that.
It's back in discussion again. The Cobb County Board of Commissioners has taken it up again to try to talk with the Fulton County and DeKalb County commissions to just put one station in Cobb County. They're trying.
They've been talking about that for 30 years.
They're trying to revive it. Well.
And the problem is when you look at how are you going to get there, and the best route, according to papers, if they connected to somewhere around Dunwoody, right?
Bring it up that way.
How?
Yep. You got to. They'd run it down. They'd run it down.
Whole north side.
Well, they'd run it down Johnson Ferry. They'd bring it all the way up Johnson's Ferry to Powers Ferry. Then they'd take Powers Ferry over to 41 and then 40. But that's
try to route that train.
Oh no, it would have to be it'd have to be above ground, and it would be a boondoggle for the entire construction of it.
Oh gosh, it would cost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. For one train station at the baseball field. They're not doing it. They're talking about doing it, but it's just going to be city buses. That's all it's going to be. Hey, we need to take a break real quick. When we come back, we'll talk more about Gillette Stadium, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Thursday. Looming large in the front window of any car driving down the road of the NFL is Tom Brady returning to Gillette Stadium to face the team that he won 6 Super Bowls with, the New England Patriots, as a quarterback for the other team this time, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Galen, not only that, but if he throws for 69 yards, he becomes the all-time leading passer, passing Drew Brees for his yardage record. And he does that in Gillette Stadium. I mean, could you draw a more storybook? Could you draw a more storybook script than what's going on this Sunday in Foxborough? 8 p.m. 8:20 at night, NFL Sunday night game, prime time, nationwide.
I saw that particular stat. I listen to a lot of Boston media, obviously, with the Red Sox, but I saw that. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And I heard, some people like, oh, we should boo him. Like, if you're going to boo Tom Brady, then if you're a Patriots fan, let's be clear. I don't care who you are. You could be a Falcons fan. You still don't boo Tom Brady. It's the equivalent of booing Derek Jeter. And I said that at the time, like when Derek Jeter was doing his goodbye. You can't boo the guy. I can not like him, but I have to respect him. Just for what he did for that team, what kind of leader he is. And by the way, Tom Brady's probably about 5 levels above Derek Jeter. Again, I think Tom Brady's going to go down as the most successful athlete of the last, I guess the only person who's even in that is a guy who played when basketball only had 8 teams. You know what I mean? So, and we're talking in a league where parity was king, and one guy won 6 Super Bowls, and more importantly made, 14 out of 15 conference title games?
Yes.
It's something crazy like that. He's been to like 17 of them. You just don't do that. So
how bad do you think? How bad do you think he wants to go into New England? Because he's going to. By the way, the pop when he comes out of that tunnel, the pop. If there was a roof on the place, the roof would come off. But it's going to be like a professional wrestling WrestleMania pop when he comes out, the cheers and everything. And then, how much do you think he just really wants to win this football game? And I know he's saying the right things. Oh, it's just another game on the schedule. Blah 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 blah. I promise you, the chip on his shoulder, Tom Brady wants to shove this down Belichick's throat so bad. He's that chip on the shoulder guy. That's how he gets motivated. The chip on the shoulder.
Well, he's not really. When you listen to him and he talks about how, I don't wish, and he talks about this all the time. He goes, I don't wish anyone bad. He goes, I don't think that way. I want everybody to be the best. I expect the best out of me. He doesn't. He's not a revenge guy, because he had every right in the world to go after revenge with the commissioner. Goodell when he went after him for Deflategate, and that turned out to be absolutely nothing.
Oh, he cheated. He cheated. He cheated.
Him.
He cheated. He deflated the ball. Cheated. He's a cheater.
We all pretty much know he didn't.
Well, as a Falcons fan, he cheated. He cheated.
Oh my God. Really? Second half, I guess he deflated them.
All of them. All of them. Go with the video they illegally took.
Oh jeez. And again, so he could have real hate for Goodell, and he just doesn't. He goes, I don't think that way. Now, that said, you know who should be under the most pressure in this game?
Antonio Brown.
Who should really? No, God no. Is one guy, and his name is Mac Jones.
Yes.
Mac Jones is the one who should be going, oh my God, I have to play well. Have to play well.
And he's not going to.
No, well, because all the cornerbacks are almost back, and then the Bucs signed Richard Sherman.
Yeah, Richard Sherman is out.
Even though they made Matthew Stafford look like an All-Pro and an MVP Sunday because they were missing 4 of their top 5 cornerbacks. So 3 of them are back, and then they signed Richard Sherman. So hopefully their secondary plays better. But that I think the defensive front is going to dominate this football game. The Bucs have to figure out the running game. I think that's a real problem. They don't trust Ronald Jones at all because he's got a lot of fumbles, and they can't use him very effectively because he can't catch. And then they have 2 third-down running backs basically, with Fournette and Bernard. And Bernard can't block anyone, and so you got Leonard Fournette, who just doesn't understand which hole to hit. I watched a breakdown of him, and they showed he had 8 runs Sunday against the Rams. 7 out of the 8 runs, he hit the wrong hole.
How do you hit the wrong? You've been a running back all your life. There's not a whole bunch of different holes in that line of scrimmage. The gaps on defense and the holes on offense, they've been the same since 6-year-old Pop Warner. They haven't changed.
They really don't change.
They don't change.
And it
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, B, C, D, E. They don't change.
And it's unfortunate. This guy who breaks down all the Bucs film. I looked. He only has like 487 subscribers.
And he's really good at what he does. He's really good at what he does.
Fantastic. And what he did is he went and he showed after one of the runs, they went to the sideline and showed the offensive coordinator, and he's just throwing his hands up. Like, even from the sidelines, you could see he hit the wrong hole. So it wasn't like one of these reads where he had to read it and find the hole, or he was pressured. He just hit the wrong damn hole.
Yeah.
He went to the right side, and the hole was to the left side. And if he goes to the left side, he's got a 22-yard gain. It was phenomenal how they broke it down. But that's what YouTube is for. Stuff like that for a sports fan.
I'm looking forward to this game. And I'm not a Patriots fan, and I'm not a Bucs fan. I'm a Falcons fan, so I've gotten beaten by the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I'm a Falcons fan, so I get drubbed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now that they have Tom Brady. Every time they play them.
The Brady Bucs.
Yeah. Tampa Bay, I get drugged by them. The Falcons are not good, but I'll watch the Falcons just because I'm a masochist, so I watch the Falcons. But I will be with popcorn in hand, pizza made, probably 2 or 3 charcuterie boards. I'll have half a turkey. Wow. Probably a bottle of vodka and a case of beer, and just me, and I'll be settled in to watch the game.
Wow. All right. See you Monday morning.
Because it's that good a football game to me. Even though I'm not a fan of either team, I'm a fan of football, and I'm a fan of good football. And both of these teams, historically, with Tom Brady now with Tampa the last year and a half, and then New England for the last 20 years, they play good football. This should be a very good football game.
You said something really interesting.
Hey, let's take a break. Hold that thought. We'll take a break.
I want to talk about fans. want to talk about fans.
We'll take a break. Come back with that right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.